Today, we are exploring some fascinating design documents for an economic network called Safecloud. Our mission is to see how it completely rewrites how internet data flows. So, the plan is you're going to walk us through the features one by one, and then we will figure out what this actually means for everyday communities.
Yeah, I'd love to. So, to understand how SafeCloud works, you really have to look at how it treats a file. It doesn't store a video or a document as one big object.
Wait, so it doesn't just save an MP4 somewhere?
Exactly, no. It uses something called Merkle trees to chop the data into these tiny mathematically linked chunks. So as data arrives on your screen, the math ensures it hasn't been tampered with.
Oh, I get it. So it's like building a Lego castle where every single brick has a built-in cryptographic stamp of authenticity.
That is a great way to put it, yeah.
Because, you don't have to trust the person handing you the bricks. The way the tree is structured, the brick just proves it belongs to the castle.
Right, and that mathematical proof is super crucial, especially when you consider who is actually holding those bricks.
Because it's not a central server, right?
Exactly. Every single chunk is encrypted, and the network uses these participants called drops to store the data blindly.
Blindly, like they don't know what they have.
Right. Because the file was chopped up and scrambled, a drop is just holding a puzzle piece. They have absolutely no idea what the overall picture is.
Oh, wow. Which, I mean, that solves the privacy issue perfectly. If I'm holding a piece of your private file, I literally cannot snoop on it.
Yep, the math makes it impossible.
But wait, if the drops don't know what they have, how do the pieces ever find each other again when I actually want to watch my video?
Well, that requires a completely separate layer of nodes called jets.
Bits, okay.
Yeah, so if drops are the blind storage lockers, jets are the routing coordinators holding the map. They handle all the access and connect you to the right drops to assemble the file.
Okay, so the data is secure, it's decentralized, and it's mapped out.
Mm-hmm.
But running all these drops and jets has to cost money, right?
Yeah, of course it does.
So how do the economics work when you don't have like a central company billing your credit card every month?
Well, the system uses dynamic pricing based entirely on demand. So if a video goes viral, the network automatically raises the price to access its chunks slightly.
Just to manage the load, I guess.
Right. But to prevent early adopters from just hoarding all the network's wealth, it uses these rank-based adjustments.
How does that work?
So if something gets too popular, the network steps in and eventually lowers the cost. At the same time, it makes less popular content cheaper so it can be rediscovered.
Okay, and actually getting paid involves something called the open cleaning protocol, right? Meaning a node essentially has to mathematically prove it delivered your data before the network releases the funds.
Exactly. It's designed to be totally fair and decentralized.
But let me push back here for a second. If pricing is based on demand, what stops a creator from, just buying their own content over and over to artificially boost its popularity?
Oh, like hijacking the algorithm.
Yeah, exactly.
So the network actually anticipates that. Earnings aren't immediately liquid, they become locked up as stake. And the system constantly runs these anonymous challenges behind the scenes.
Oh, so it's testing them.
Yes. If a node misbehaves or tries to game the system, they get caught with what's called a proof of corruption.
And then that locked stake just gets slashed.
Completely. They literally confiscate your earnings and give them to whoever caught you.
Wow. So you have way more to lose than you could ever gain by cheating.
Exactly. The incentives are mathematically aligned.
So if the network relies entirely on these nodes, that means when you watch a video on your phone, you aren't just a consumer anymore.
No, your device actually becomes part of the infrastructure. You reshare chunks to others, and you earn network tokens, which are called SafeBots, just for doing it.
SafeBots. I love that. And because of the Safecloud player, everything happens on the fly, right?
Yeah, the player dynamically stitches these verifiable chunks together in real time. It's incredible.
Meaning you could instantly swap out an audio track for, say, a Spanish translation? Or you could pull a highlight reel without ever touching a master file.
Exactly. The player just requests a completely different set of chunks.
That is wildly efficient. But I want to pivot a bit, because the real magic is what this architecture actually enables for society.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the infrastructure is everywhere, we're looking at the reality of community-owned video vaults.
Right. Like, think about local neighborhoods or even online communities maintaining their own shared private media repositories.
And because the code and the financial incentives enforce the rules rather than some central tech giant, creators are completely protected from being deplatformed.
That is huge. They actually govern their own networks. It just means the internet is moving away from static central storage into this system of verifiable, incentivized flow.
Yeah, the old warehouse model is totally being replaced by a living ecosystem.
Which leaves us with a massive question for you to chew on today. If media is no longer a static file sitting on a shelf, but a living composition of dynamic chunks constantly being reassembled, what does that mean for the future of digital originals and ownership?